Good afternoon. Welcome to our 2020 Election Forum series. Today, we're going to be meeting 5 people who are running to be the next mayor of Cocoa, one of our towns here in Brevard County. I am Isadora Rangel. I will be your host during this forum, and I am Florida Today's engagement editor. Our forums are organized in a partnership with the League of Women Voters of the Space Coast and Eastern Florida State College. You can rewatch this forum later on Facebook. If you want to watch it on TV, go to WEFS to rewatch it on a later date. And today, like I said, we have 5 candidates joining me in our virtual studio. Obviously, because of COVID-19, we're not allowed to do this in person. So let me start by introducing our candidates. They are Mayor Jake Williams Jr., Ellen Cowart, Mike Blake, who's a former mayor, Bob Harvey, and Henry Parrish III, also a former mayor of Cocoa. Welcome, gentlemen. Thank you for joining us here. And so we're very happy to have them here. And like I said, we have 5 candidates, so we have rules to make sure that everybody has equal time to speak. Each of them will have 1 minute to answer my questions. They will also have 1 minute to do an introductory statement. If they get brought up by one of their opponents, they get a 30-second rebuttal. So let's begin, because we have a lot of ground to cover here, and with our introduction statements. And Mike, why don't we start with you? Please introduce yourself to voters and explain and make your case to them.
Good afternoon, Isadora and my fellow candidates. My name is Michael C. Blake. I was born and reared right here in the great city of Cocoa, Florida, and I am a 2-term mayor. I've served over 12 years as both a mayor and also as a councilman. I have the longest amount of tenure here, and I feel like we deserve to move forward in the great city of Cocoa through proper leadership and cooperation through all parts of the city government, and provide a quality life for the citizens of Cocoa. Thank you.
Thank you. Now let's move on to the incumbent, Jake Williams Jr. It looks like he's having some technical difficulties, so let's move on to the next candidate. We'll go back to you, so don't worry. Henry, why don't we go with you? 1 minute to introduce yourself to voters.
Okay. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. This is an honor to be here. It's hard. I think maybe we should have went in the studio, but nevertheless, here we go. I'm Henry Parrish. I'm a former mayor of Cocoa from 2012 to 2018, and my passion for the city and love for the city is pretty evident. I've done a lot of things and had a lot of policies that I've passed in the city, helped pass, and we've had a lot of success during my tenure. I make sure the citizens of Cocoa know that my job is to come in and to resume success and to make us the best city in the state in every great category. I want to make sure that we're going to bring in more jobs than we did last time. We had a lot of success. We're going to make sure that we tackle crime. We're going to tackle crime, and we're going to. Oh, thank you.
Thank you. Your 1 minute is up. So let's
short.
move on to Jake. It looks like you're back with us, so you have 1 minute to introduce yourself. Okay, looks like still having technical difficulties here. Viewers, please be patient with us. This is all very new for us and a lot of the candidates. So Bob, why don't we give you the chance to introduce yourself?
Thank you, Isadora, and thank you for trying Florida today. This is all new for all of us, so the technology is a little bit challenging. But I do appreciate the opportunity to speak to the citizens again today, the citizens of Cocoa. So I'm Bob Harvey. I am not a former mayor, but I am running to be your mayor, and I offer quite a bit of different for the mayorship here. For starters, I'm a retired Air Force colonel. My wife and I moved here about 9 years ago. We love Cocoa. We chose to live here in Cocoa, and we've always felt welcome. Everybody in Cocoa is so nice to us, and that's a very nice, wonderful feeling to have. I live here and I love it here. Cocoa's a great city, and I know that I can make it a more secure, safe, and fun and beautiful city as your mayor. So I'm running. I have 33 years of experience in leadership and a formal training in leadership, and I think that would really help the city today. So I am running for you, Mayor. I appreciate your vote, and let's rock and roll.
Thank you. Now let's move on to Alan Cowart. You have 1 minute.
Good afternoon. My name is Alan Cowart. I'm a fifth generation cocoa person. I was born and raised right here. And we came here in the early 1900s, and I've been a lane clearance site development contractor for 35 plus years. Deputy Sheriff with Brevard County Sheriff's Department, reserve now, firefighter. I'm a realtor and I'm an auctioneer. So we do a lot of different things. I'm looking at getting into more items. It was a great place. I was born and raised here. My kids were born and raised here. My grandkids are here. We got stuff we need to address, things we can improve on. Cocoa downtown's fantastic. We need to expand a little more, and we need to work on our education. I'll stop there before I get lighted up.
Thank you. And do we have Mayor Williams back with us? All right, let's move on to the first question. Hopefully he can join us as soon as he tries to fix some of his technical issues. So I want to talk about many of the issues here in Cocoa, but I'm going to begin with one that seems to be of high interest for voters. A lot of residents often complain that most of Cocoa's resources are spent in Cocoa Village, where the wealthiest citizens live. They see changes and investments in the village, but not in their neighborhoods where most of Cocoa's citizens live. How would you respond to that concern? And how do we invest in Cocoa Village without gentrifying it and leading to more inequalities? And since we're taking turns answering, let's begin with Henry. And please unmute yourself.
Served from 2012 to 18. Also, I want to mention, I hear that too. I've heard that my whole life. In my mayorship, I got started the Jolie Smith Center, which was an enormous amount of money. We expanded our roads. We did a lot of, we did the Peachtree project, the complete project, the Florida Avenue complete project, and that's 12 million bucks. We did the US 1 project. It took 4 years, my first term done. That cost a lot of money to the city with DOT. We also did a lot of drainage, and we spent money in our infrastructure and the utilities, 140 million in new infrastructure. We repositioned 3 fire stations. It cost us $10 million. And I did very little for the village, to be honest with you. But we did bring in tourists, and I'm happy with that. A lot of people that want to buy in the city, and I'm very happy. Thank you.
Bob,
there's more, but who knows, right? I mean,
Bob Harvey.
Thank you again, Isadora. I think what we need to focus on here in the village, or not just the village is invested in by business people and investors, and they want to invest in a lot of them want to invest in the rest of the city as well. We need to encourage that. We need to become more friendly to people that do want to invest in our city. Some great successes have happened in the past, but it is very difficult, and it's very difficult and challenging to get investors and people who want to build in our city. And if you go back to the 2015 master plan, strategic plan for the city, it's highlighted that we have a perception that it is difficult to work with the city to invest in the city. And as a citizen here for the last 8 years, I've heard that a lot. But now as a developer myself, and I am investing in the city in several different places, but as a developer myself, I've seen how hard it is to work and the challenges it is to get through, to work with the city to get things developed. We need to change that mindset, bring investment here, and they will come to the city, all of the city. They will come if we help them come here. We change our mindset, be helpful. Thank you.
Ellen, you're next.
Thank you again. We have to do some more expansion in West Cocoa. I mean, that's the big area that's growing. We have the train coming. They're going to be putting a station out there. We need to look and go with the development in that area. We've got a lot of vacant land out in that area. If you look at the development plans that Cocoa has had out, it didn't show the area at all. It only showed the downtown area and stopping around US 1. So we need to get US 1 going north We need to go up Clear Lake and down Dixon and look at those areas. A lot of that needs to be there. We got buildings, so we just need to get people to go in. We need to get incentives to get people to do that. I agree that a lot of people don't get representation for their taxes, so we need to figure out a way to make that work. And it's doable. It's not a problem. I think everybody wants to do something and make a big show, but it's going to take a lot of little shows to make the show get here. We have, the Walmart Supercenter. They did a great job getting that here. We've got more vacant land. We got a lot of commercial land that is doable, so we can get some more tax incentives and get more companies in here. So that's all we have. We just got to work on that angle and make it happen.
Thank you. Michael.
Thank you, Isadora. Let me be first to say, I'm a firm believer in dispersing and distributing the wealth fairly and equitably, being equitable all the way across the board. The RDAs has been beneficial, especially in the Diamond Square area. And we provided that area for Diamond Square because it's been neglected. Let's be truthful and honest about it. And the only way that we could provide an avenue to increase the revenue base is to enhancing the communities there. Yes, District 3 is the last of the frontier out there in the north by Northwest Cocoa. That area has finally started taking off. It's the last of the frontier, and it's the most precious part of the frontier, even though we have different segments of the city of Cocoa that makes up us a united Cocoa. Clearly, there's development there. There's future development coming. The train is there. So we have the right idea to promote the business advancement of the other areas.
Thank you. Jake, are you back with us?
Yes, ma'am. Can you hear me?
Okay, I can hear you clearly.
Okay. Could you repeat that question?
I'm going to repeat the question. We've already moved on to the first question, so I'm going to repeat it. I'll give you a little extra time since you couldn't do your intro. I cannot give you another minute to do your introduction because we're trying to stick to our time limits. But the question is, voters often complain that most of Cocoa's resources are spent in Cocoa Village, where the wealthiest citizens live. They see changes and investments in the village, but not in their neighborhoods, where most of Cocoa's citizens live. How would you respond to that concern? And how do we invest in Cocoa Village without gentrifying it and leading to more inequalities?
Yes, ma'am. I can tell you that they've seen what we've done since getting elected to office in 2018. The three of us that came into office. If you look along Ponita Street haven't been done in 38 years. A complete rebuild, sidewalks, curbs. If you look at Washington Street, you got your sidewalks, curbs, and your ADA compliance, and it just goes on and on. Barbara Jenkins, the Horseshoe Pond, north of Ponita Road. North of Ponita. And then also you have the 3 ponds along Ponita up near Cambridge Elementary School. We're now clearing all those ponds out. We're expanding those ponds to address some of our stormwater issues that we have. And it just goes on and on. And hey, they're coming. Developers are tearing our doors down to get in the city of Cocoa right now. If you go along 524, we got multiple projects going on right now, housing projects going on. We got over 1,500 homes that are coming in that will be in place within the next year. You're seeing development, not just in the downtown area with our promenade and with our roundabout and not with our roundabout, but with our promenade, with the T-dot.
Sorry, your time is up. But we're going to stay on this topic for the next question. And Mayor, I think I'll start with you because this question relates to you specifically. And another, I'm going to allow you to answer this question first. Mayor, City Council approved your proposal to ask the FBI to investigate allegations that a land development scheme involving city officials aims to defraud poor residents out of their homes and benefit development interest. Mayor, what evidence do you have to back up these allegations?
I really can't discuss that right at this time. We had a meeting at 1:30 this afternoon. But we had to delay that meeting due to this forum right here. So they're going to be getting back with me sometime later today, and we're going to reschedule that. But this is just complaints from residents. It's from documentations that I've gotten from residents. But I can't disclose that right now at this time. I would love to, but I can't.
Okay, and when I mentioned that there was another candidate who has somehow become part of this issue. And Bob, that's you. I want to make sure that you have the opportunity to address this issue. And I'm going to explain for the viewers who are not familiar with this, that the Bob is the chair of the board of a nonprofit organization called Broadmoor Acres Community Restoration and Preservation, which the mayor says is among the focal points of these allegations. I just want to make clear that you previously denied any wrongdoing to Florida Today in an interview, but I would like for you to comment on this as well, as since the mayor had the opportunity to. And don't forget to unmute yourself.
All right, thank you for asking me this. Well, first of all, this falls in the category of no good deed goes unpunished. The mayor knows this is a false allegation, but that's kind of how he's choosing to run his campaign. So that's just how that's going to be. So for those that don't know, Broadmoor Acres is just a neighborhood in Cocoa. I, along with dozens of other volunteers, or a dozen other volunteers, have been helping people own their own homes in Broadmoor Acres. What a crime. We're helping people own their own home. There is a nonprofit involved, but that's not the sole effort. There are a lot of people helping others own their own home. Isn't that what we want for the citizens of Cocoa? Now, I want to take you back to what the mayor said. If you watched the meeting when the mayor actually brought up the FBI, there was no mention of Broadmoor Acres or Bob Harvey or anybody else at that time. No mention of that whatsoever. What the mayor asked for was an FBI investigation into current council, city council, current citizens sitting on all boards, former citizens sitting on all boards, current staff, and I get 30 extra seconds. He mentioned me.
Okay, I'll give you no extra time.
Can I address?
Okay. If you go back and look at what the mayor said in the meeting, it had nothing to do with this. He only changed it during the interview the next day. It's a lie.
All right. Mayor, I'll give you 30 seconds for a rebuttal, but I want to make sure we want to hear from the other candidates as well, because they're also, part of this race, but I'll give you 30 seconds to rebut what Bob said.
Even though he would like to think that this whole FBI investigation is about Broadmoor Acres, it's not. They're just a little part in there, because I don't particularly like their practices and what the CEO does and how he goes out and he video folks, use bullhorns. He curses people out. He just harassed all the neighbors there. All you got to do is go to YouTube and just Google and look at some of the videos that he's produced. So that tactic is not what we expect and what we deserve in the city of Cocoa.
Okay. Bob, this is a sensitive issue. I'll give you 30 seconds, but then we have to move on.
All right. So first of all, I know it might come as a surprise to some people, but I'm the one running for mayor here, not somebody else in Broadmoor Acres. I'm the one running for mayor. Broadmoor Acres, we're helping people own their own homes. It's that simple, folks. All this other nonsense and smoke and mirrors, watch what the mayor said that Wednesday night in the meeting, had nothing to do with Broadmoor Acres.
All right, so let's move on to the other candidates. And my question for you, Alan, Henry, and Michael is, would you support requesting the FBI to investigate? If you want to add any other thoughts about this issue as well, please feel free to do so. And I'm going to ask Alan to go first.
I mainly try to stay out of controversy like that if I'm not involved in it. The questions I'd look at is what, if any percentage of the nonprofit goes to overhead, or what that percentage is. If there's any, presidents and any stuff like that. We need to find lower homes. People can afford low income people be able to afford homes for themselves, and we can make that happen. I think there's a lot of land there. We've had this discussion in another meeting. It's a great thing. We've got some great companies, Habitat for Humanity for one. There's out there that'll be well involved in helping people get homes. I don't know much about the controversy down there, and I really make clear about it. Thank you.
Thank you. Michael.
Thank you. I believe in checks and balance, ma'am. We have a community development director. We have a city attorney. We have other agencies of our great local government that deal with this issue. And my thing is, I support their wishes and thoughts and their information that they present to us. Yes, I'm sure some of the information is limited, but until I'm accessible to this information or been privy, it's hard for me to make a fair and equitable comment. But what I will say, as I alluded to earlier, I will use our local agencies, meaning the various departments that make up the great city of Cocoa and its local government, and with our attorney, to continue to investigate this, or at least keep us abreast of what's going on. And that's all I have to say.
Thank you. Henry?
What was the question?
The question for you was, would you support requesting the FBI to investigate these allegations made by the mayor, which was approved?
Yeah, it won't have any bearing on the next person coming in, or unless it's a citizen. I really don't have a comment on the matter. It's unfortunate that the problem is not a nonprofit in our city. I want to stick to the citywide stuff. We have low property values. We can't just add, rely on rentals for the next 30 years. We need to figure a way to get housing in there. But a lot of it starts at property value. Property value is too low. Now, as far as Broadmoor Acres, they're doing their own thing. I think it was, I don't know. I really don't have a comment today, but I think if the FBI finds something, they find something, but it has nothing to do with the incoming mayor. I want to run a positive campaign and keep moving forward and improve our city. Thank you.
Okay. So obviously this issue touches on a broader issue, which is affordable housing, which is a crisis across Florida. In Cocoa, as many as 30% of its population lives below the national poverty level. And my question to you is, obviously the cost of housing is dictated by the market. Are things the local government to increase the availability of affordable housing? I'm sorry, Bob, go ahead.
Do I get the answer to the question about the FBI and rebut the request of?
You already did. I asked you the specific.
I don't believe I got an opportunity to answer. Do I support the FBI coming in?
Okay, go ahead.
So
I'll give you.
You already have yes, I do. Yes, I do support the FBI coming in because the mayor asked for it, and I believe once the city council votes on it and they ask for it, I believe that's proper for the FBI to come in and investigate. They can start with me. I'd be happy to talk to them about what we're doing in Broadmoor Acres. And to answer Mr. Cowart's question. 0% has gone to overhead, Mr. Cowart. No money actually has been made by anybody in Broadmoor Acres that is helping. And I have personally donated thousands of dollars of my own money to help the citizens of Broadmoor Acres.
Okay, thank you. We're going to have to move on now. I think we've all of the candidates have been able to say their piece, but there are many issues affecting the city that we want to make sure we cover, and you all have a chance to answer those issues. And so I'll go back to my question, which is about affordable housing. What would you do if you are the mayor to increase the availability of affordable housing? Like I said, there are many solutions that local governments have come up with. What are some that you would prefer to implement? And Alan, we'll start with you.
Well, thanks for the information there, Bob. My big thing is you got to get the affordable housing. We got to get people jobs so they can afford housing. It's not always just the dollar amount. We got to get them jobs so they can afford it and they can live in them and they have that pride of ownership. I was discussing a previous forum that there's a lot of land that the city owns. So you have a lot of area that can grow, and a lot of stuff needs to be put on the tax base. So that'd be a great thing to do, is get houses put there and get those back where they're producing income. Something I need to learn more about is, what we can do to make that happen. I'm more than happy to spend time with anybody that wants to give me some insights. But we've got to get the education. You've got to get, people back involved in doing that stuff. It's one of my big things is education. I know it's a school board is the big thing, but people don't that out. And we get education, that gets jobs. We get, we help get trade people, get some of these companies to get people, jobs on and come in and see how stuff's done. So that's the way to make it happen.
Thank you. And we'll move on to Michael.
I'm a firm believing if you do provide jobs here for our local area, that homes will come. If you build it, they will come. Clearly beyond a shadow of the doubt. Cocoa is the focal point right about now. We are the hot spot. And I'm a strong believer when you provide a permanent resident for individuals so that the kids being in the lifetime long educated, records indicate that when kids have a permanent structure, a stable living facility, the grades go up, self-esteem goes up, and people feel part of the process. And so I think it's imperative that, yes, we provide jobs, we have land to do so, and also bring in business. This right now is all roads lead into cocoa. All we need is stability, and I am that person who will do this. Beyond my track record indicates that. And that's the reason why both cocoa, come to cocoa, live and stay and reside in the great city of cocoa.
Thank you. Jake, you're next.
Can you repeat that question again?
Sure. The question is, what solutions do you have to increase the availability of affordable housing in cocoa?
Yes, ma'am. One of the things I did was I wanted to find out how many vacant lots we had throughout the city that the city owned, and there was a total of 57 of them. I've had 3 developers that I've been meeting with that actually want to come in and build affordable homes on those lots. They get those off the city's roll and get them back on the tax roll. Those developers are Kevin Durant, which is with Bethel Homes, and then Mr. Doug Baldwin with Affordable Homes. And I also met with a former NFL player that's looking to do the same thing. And what we can do is we turn around and basically give them those properties that save on the price of those homes that they will be building. And also we have a down payment assistance as well as a first-time home buyers program that we have as well. So we are doing those things right now. Some of those are going out for RFP right now, so we can move forward. But we're doing everything we can to make it possible for individuals to own homes and affordable homes in the city of Cocoa, but
Thank
new
you.
homes.
Henry.
Well, I'll try to answer in a different way than my cohorts here. If you don't have a safe city and stability in your city, then you're never going to have anything we're talking about. And I can tell you right now, our housing stock is old, very old. The mayor's right. There's new development coming in a big way, but I prefer to call it maybe workforce housing. Workforce housing is people that come in and buy a home. It can be affordable. We have a lot of HUD houses. We have more HUD units, I think, in our city than anywhere in the county. I'm for sending some of those to Vieira, Merritt Island, or whatever. But as far as the answer to the question strictly is, we need to bring up property value and promote affordable housing or low-income housing or workforce housing. We need to have the people there contributing to the society and to the citizens and be part of the process. Definitely, I'm against a lot of rentals. So, thank you.
Bob, you're next.
Well, once again, I am developing affordable housing right now in 2 different areas of the city. So my solution to affordable housing is, as we're doing in Broadmoor Acres, we're taking old houses and fixing them, bringing them up to code, changing them from rentals to owner-occupied housing. Owner-occupied housing, as everyone knows, reduces crime. We have successfully reduced crime in Broadmoor Acres neighborhood 40% in 3 years. If we can do this in Broadmoor Acres, take old houses, bring them up to speed, let people own them instead of renting them, then we can do it anywhere in the city. I'm also a developer in another project that's the south end of the city, where we're building another 85 homes for people of workforce housing. This is how we build our city, one house at a time, one neighborhood at a time. But when we all pitch in, as all of the volunteers have done in Broadmoor Acres, when we all pitch in and help, we actually succeed. And the new homeowners in Broadmoor Acres are very happy about being able to own their own homes. It's a win-win.
Thank you. So now let's move on to another topic, and let's talk about law enforcement in the city of Cocoa. As you know, the city of Cocoa is beginning its search for the next chief of police, as current chief Mike Cantaloupe is set to retire this December after serving 30 years with the Cocoa Police Department. What qualities must the ideal candidate have to replace him in this situation? And we're going to begin with Michael. You're the next one here on my list. What qualities are you looking for in the next chief of police?
Communication is the key perspective here, ma'am. If you don't communicate with the citizens of Cocoa, we will have chaos. Chief Cantaloupe has done an outstanding job in having that communication with the citizens of Cocoa. It also helps to have programs established for the city of Cocoa. That chief of police must be educated. It helps out that as well. That person must have the ability to address all needs and concerns and have the support of his workforce, the police men and women, to show support and solidarity. But the most important thing, having that extended hand and having that branch of peace and tranquility so that we can have a good correlation, provides a good community. And when you have that communication, people like to stay here, live here, and pray here. And I'm a supporter of the police department, and I think that they will continue to do an outstanding job. They may move in a different direction because now we have a new city manager. But
Thank
the
you.
most important thing is
Thank
communication.
you. Your time is up.
Cooperation.
Thanks. Jake, please unmute yourself.
Okay. As a former mayor said, communication, that's key. We need a chief that not afraid to get out in the community, a chief that not afraid to get out and learn our community and get to know our community, a chief that's not afraid to live in our community. It's just sad that, our police department that we have right now, they're great when it comes to public relations, but when it comes to policing, I'm telling you, I get the phone calls. I get them every day. And you can see what's happening along Peachtree Street and in our parks. We've given directions to the city manager as well as the interim city manager. That's what we do. We give direction as a council. They implement those directions, and because they do the day-to-day operations. But we need a police chief that cares, that generally care about our community, and have gotten to know our community, and willing to get out and communicate with our residents.
Thank you. And the question again is, what qualities are you looking for in the next police chief, as the current chief is set to retire soon? And Henry, you're next.
Okay, thank you. Just for the record, my administration, we lowered crime 51% across the board. And when you look at the crime rate, you look at violent crime first. But we were very effective, and my next goal is to lower crime lower than Rockledge's. But as far as the chief hiring, I always like to look from within if there's a very good candidate, because those candidates possibly could have the inroad in all the different pastors, the churches in Cocoa, and the business owners and the citizens. I found out, and I've lived here my whole life, like a few of the guys, when you hire a chief has all the schooling, it doesn't mean they're going to make it. I've seen them last just months before they leave with their tail between their legs. The truth is, you need to look in first and then out. Thank you.
Thank you. Bob, you're next.
Candidates for the next chief, I think, is what we were talking about there. First and foremost,
Yes, you're breaking up. What I'm going to do is, because I hope this is a temporary thing, I'm going to move on to Ellen, and then I'll come back to you, okay? All right, so Ellen, I'll give you 1 minute, and then we'll go back to Bob.
Thank you. We met with myself and all the other candidates met with the police the other day, and I believe there's a lot of people in the house that would be great to move up. I'm very fond of moving up in house. They know the system, they know the area, they know the problem areas, certain areas that we really need to work on. So whether that's bringing somebody from inside and keep moving them up, or bringing somebody from outside, normally that's done if you have a complete messed up department. We don't. We got a great department. We got great officers in there. Deputy, I've backed them up on calls. They back me up on calls. City of Cocoa is a great place, and everybody's giving police at this time, they're giving them a bad rap, and that's not what we need to do. We need to be backing them and raising them. So let's work with them, see if there's somebody in-house that needs to come up, step up, and wants to step up to be the next chief. I think it's doable. I think it's a very possible thing to happen. Before we start looking elsewhere, let's look inside, see if we can make it happen.
And it looked like we lost Bob Harvey. My hope is that he's coming back soon. So when he comes back, we'll let him answer this question So Bob, you're with us again. Do you hear me?
I do. Thank you.
What qualities you look for in the next police chief? And then we'll move on to the next question. So you have 1
Thank
minute.
you. Thank you. That's very great. That's very nice of you. First, I think the next chief needs to have respect of the force. I think the choice should be someone that the average police officer on the beat is going to support, is going to respect. And then the second skill is leadership. You've got to have strong leadership skills and be a problem solver. So we need to be able to get along and reach out to the citizens as well as the rank and file of the police force. It is about getting along with each other, being inclusive, getting the other opinions from different sources, the younger folks, the older folks. And so I would go back to leadership and the respect of the rank and file of the police force are the most important.
All right, the Cocoa City Council in August picked a new city manager. If elected as mayor, what are the 3 things you would like the new city manager to focus on? And Henry, you're going first on this one.
Yep, thank you. Obviously, it'll be crime. I worked with Stockton Witten on issues when he was with the county. He's a very capable guy. I look forward to working with him. I know if everybody thinks the 6 years I was in was good, Stockton will top that. Stockton is very capable. But for the 3 things, safety is obviously going to be driving crime down below Rockledge's numbers. Yes, I said it. It's going to be economic development, getting the, I would say the economic development office back up and running, and have Cocoa reach out and lure all these companies, the top 400 companies, to our location in Brevard County. We have the best location. And I'd probably want to do a homeless coalition, a citizen advisory board on mental health issues, homeless issues, and drug issues, and try to go at this a totally different way. I don't have enough time. Okay.
Bob, you're next.
Okay, again, I worked with Stockton and I think he's going to be a great asset for the city. What I would ask him to focus on early on in his tenure would be, of course, the most pressing decision that he has to make is to hire the next police chief. That is going to be one of the most important decisions that the city of Cocoa faces for the next 10 years. That will make the city better, or it will have challenges bring with it that we can't deal with or we don't want to deal with. The second thing is, I would like to include citizen participation, have citizens participate in our government. We seem to shun them too often and say, we're not really listening to you. We want to make a decision here in this group instead of listening to our citizens. I want to encourage citizen participation. I know Stockton will do that. He's that kind of guy. He'd like to invite everybody's opinion. And obviously, when you have a multitude of opinions, you have better chance at better solutions. The last thing is, I'd like him to work on a strategic plan. We've had a strategic plan for many, many years. It just doesn't seem to get executed very well. And I think if we focus on it, we can move forward.
All right, Ellen, you're next.
I haven't had the pleasure of meeting him yet, but I'd like to. I think we need to work on safety. That's always a major concern. I've had a lot of complaints. Of course, I've been involved in development in this area for years and years. And previous administration has been anti-growth. We've had buildings that they wouldn't let you rent to somebody because they personally had an idea and an agenda. That's not the person who need to be in that building. So as I mentioned before, we work for the people that elect us. We need to help them any way we can to get to accomplish the goals that they have coming up. And they've invested good money into our area, so let's make it work. Let's work with them, get them in there, and see what we can make happen.
Thank you. And the question again is, what are your top 3 priorities for the new city manager? Michael, you're next.
Great question there, Isadora. The first thing, I kind of make myself parallel to Stockton. We both are. We're both proven leaders, and we both believe in integrity to the citizens of who we represent. I believe in the 3 C's, ma'am. The first one is communication. We must have a dialogue that we have with not only with the council itself, but the citizens of Cocoa and who we represent. The second C is the collaboration. If we don't open up our mouths and listen to what the people have to say, and also take that information and absorb it and take it in and dissect it, then we must do the last important thing, which is the third C, which is cooperation. We must get things completed in an orderly, fashionable way. We must have the opportunity to listen to the citizens' concern and move forward on the issues that are important to the citizens of Cocoa. Thank you.
Jake.
Yes, ma'am. We're going to continue with the same issues that I heard while running in 2018 from the residents of Cocoa, and that's reducing the street level crime in the city of Cocoa, eliminating the blight throughout the city of Cocoa, our main thoroughfares. This is what everyone see every day as they're driving through the city of Cocoa, and also addressing the inequalities that we see with reference to services in the city of Cocoa. And when I talk about that, I talk about the services that we see from the different services we see from one part versus another part, the conditions of the parts, from one part to the next park, and then also as far as your street maintenance, just everything that you see happening throughout the city. I mean, it's been a nightmare for me. I'm a little flustered right now because of some of the stuff I'm hearing right now. But we've fought, we've moved, we've changed, we've addressed a lot of concerns of the residents, but we're moving our city forward in a positive way. And that's why you have 5 candidates running now for mayor.
Yeah. Thank you. All right, so let's move on to the COVID-19 pandemic, another big issue. And I would like to know if you have any ideas to support the survival of small businesses in our community that have been impacted by the pandemic. And Bob, you're going first. Give us some of your ideas to help those businesses.
Well, I think the government is doing the best they can. I think the local citizens are doing an awesome job supporting local businesses. And I would encourage that local citizens continue to help our local businesses shop local. They hear that a lot. But I think that is the way to support our people. Our city is for us to participate in it. I do think that the federal government, hopefully they'll get together and pass another stimulus type program to help the locals that have been out of work. But I do think we're on the path to recovery. I have one concept that I would like to institute, and that is to have the local business leaders and local citizens participate in a roundtable discussion and advisory group to come together and tell us how they think that business ought to be rejuvenated here in the city or rebound here in the city. We want to get the experts involved. The folks that are actually living it are the experts. So I'd like to ask their opinion on how to go about moving forward in recovery.
Alan?
I agree with Bob on a lot of those areas. As a small businessman, I've seen it. I'm living it. You go out to dinner, and even with the restrictions of 50% or 70% of these restaurants, they're not full. They're not even at their half capacity. I don't know if people are just nervous from not wanting not to go out, don't want to spread it, don't want to get it, or it's just nobody can afford to go anywhere. Maybe it's a little of both. I don't have a game plan. I'm not going to sit here and say that I know how to solve it because I don't. So I'm just going to pass it to somebody else because I just don't have a game plan for that without knowledge of what the next step would be.
All right, Michael?
Thank you. I'm a firm believer in buying local, spending local, keeping it local. We have an economic development department, part of the city of Cocoa. I'm a strong supporter of town hall meetings where the business personnel gets together with the city personnel. And we also bring in the citizens of this immediate area. And we sit down and have communication, talking about the issues, how to make their business stay operable and provide a way of life for the business in the downtown area, but not just strictly downtown, but throughout the entire city of Cocoa, because it is affected throughout the entire nation. So let's invest in the citizens of our immediate area first and foremost, in reference of local business. And I'm a firm believer in that. Spend local, keep it local. Hey, buy local. Hot chocolate. Thank you.
Jake?
Yes, and we've been doing a lot of that. We've actually been reaching out to the local businesses, just finding out what the concerns and needs are at this point in time, giving them all the latest and greatest information when it comes to the CARES Act and packages that we're offering. So we've been actively doing that, not just the staff, but as well as some of the council members. We've been doing this. So we got a good relationship with a lot of our local businesses, and we're just moving forward.
All right, so we have one more question before we move to our closing statements, and this is a bit of a personal question. And all of us make mistakes or evolve our point of view over time. Can you share with us mistakes or changes of viewpoint that could help voters with their decision this election? And Alan, you're going first.
I'm not sure about the mistakes. We're talking about mistakes that I've made.
Or changes of point of view.
We all make a bunch that we wish we could go back and change. I don't think there's any five of us don't have that answer, whether it's been, how we did something in the past or different things, how we were raised. I don't know. I don't have anything that I can say that I've been very blessed. Good Lord's blessed me way beyond my my needs and wants. And so I'd have to say that as far as changing things, I've been led in a good way. I was raised by a good family in a great town. I love Cocoa, and that's why I'm doing what I'm doing at this moment. Any other way, I don't really have a good answer for it.
All right. Again, the question is, any mistakes or changes in your point of view that have happened in your life that help voters get to know you a little better or explain who you are. And Michael, you're next.
Well, ma'am, I've been very fortunate to be a lifelong resident here. Any changes in my life I would like to change? No, ma'am. I'm a firm believing and living by example. People may misconstrue us, but they're only human. Name me a person who hasn't committed a mistake or had a misfortune. My only thing is to move forward, learn the best about me. As the more you communicate and cooperate with me, and I as well do the same for you, I think it makes it a more harmonious relationship, because that's what it's all about here, having relationships with the citizens of Cocoa and the business adventure. So we look forward to a great day, a fine day, when we can continue to move forward, enhancing our population, enhancing our tax base, and providing a quality way of life. That's the only thing I want to say positive about the great city of Cocoa, because there's nothing negative about us. Thank you.
Okay. Jake.
Yes, ma'am. I can't think of much right now, but I could tell you this, is that I'm happy with what we're doing and what I'm doing as the mayor of the city of Cocoa. I think that our work speaks for itself. We got multiple projects going on right now within the city. We've finished multiple projects within the city. We're steadily moving forward. I'm an active mayor. I'm very active in the community. Not too many folks are going to tell you that they don't see me, don't know who I am. I've managed to meet with pretty much all the pastors within our community, just trying to get an understanding of what their needs and concerns are, as well as some of our amenities that we have in our city, like the museum, like the college, meeting with the college, meeting with the principals of the schools, just trying to find out what we can do to help them out, to make them even better. So I'm just grateful for the opportunity, and I'm looking for another 4 years to continue, and complete what I started 2 years ago.
Thank you. Henry, you're next.
Mistakes. I mean, I probably regret maybe the city of Cocoa not annexing Rockledge. I mean, I don't know what you're actually asking, but I hope my friends like that. I think we have, if you're an active city and you're working hard, there are mistakes there, but I can't think of anything offhand. That's it.
All right. Bob.
I, like these other gentlemen, don't really have a change in my viewpoint or in my life with regard to Cocoa or anything that we've done since we've gotten here. We moved here. I served in the military 33 years. I've served the last 4 years as a port commissioner of Port Canaveral. I'll continue to serve, so I'm not changing that. I'll continue to serve whether mayor or not. I continue to work for the benefit of Cocoa, as I have for the last 8 years. I'm developing things in Cocoa. I'm working for the betterment of Cocoa. I'm participating in the government of Cocoa. I wrote a history book about Cocoa. I love it here. This is a jewel in the rough. I think we can really make this a really wonderful, beautiful city, safe and secure for all of our citizens. We just need to work together toward that. We need to get past all the drama and all of the angst and name calling and other whatevers. We just need to start working together, focus on what we share together, and that is a love of cocoa. Let's make this place what we want it to be, and stop the sniping, and let's be nice and work together. I think
Thank
cocoa's
you.
a great.
And just to wrap up, I want you, this is the last question. I wanted to end this forum with you explaining why should voters choose you and not your opponents. And Michael, you're going first.
Thank you, Isadora. As we were talking and having this dialogue, ma'am, some of my students, being educated, would come into my room, knock at my door, and they see us doing this focus meeting here, this Zoom meeting. But let me say this to you. Being a lifelong resident in the great city of Cocoa, meaning the citizens of Cocoa, we've paid our dues. I'm a firm believer in keeping people here in the great city of Cocoa. I want them to pray, stay, and live here, have a job here. Because the more that you live in our great city of Cocoa, it enhances our tax base. I want everyone to feel a part of the system here, own their own property, have a positive way of life, somewhere where they can feel safe and secure, obtain a great education here. In the great city of Cocoa, we can travel throughout all sectors, go from elementary to college, and never have to leave the city of Cocoa. And that's the type of quality life that I want them to experience. And not only that, but a safe life. Thank you.
Thank you. And Jake, the question is what, in your closing statements, why should voters choose you and not your opponents?
Because I've done and I'm doing what I said I was going to do when I got elected in 2018 and prior to that. We're trying to take the city of Cocoa to the next level. Of course, I've mentioned some of the things that it's going to take to do that. I think I'm the best candidate because I have the time to put into the things that need to happen within the city of Cocoa. I've gone out there in the mornings and met with residents with water issues. I've gone out there and met with residents when it comes to stormwater issues, and the list just goes on. The community know me, they see me all over. I'm all about the entire city of Cocoa, not just certain portions of Cocoa. I care about the city of Cocoa as a whole, and that's what I've been fighting for. I'm not going to tell people what they want to hear. I'm going to tell them the truth, and that's what I've been about, the truth, when it comes to a lot of issues that are going on with the city of Cocoa. So I'm just all about moving us forward, taking us to the next level, and making the city of Cocoa something we can all be proud of.
Thank you. Henry.
Heard a lot of talk today, but let me just say what we're really talking about is a mayor that can drive policy and pass policy that's going to affect the citizens of Cocoa, who are our bosses, positively. And let me just explain this. When I was mayor, we brought in the Walmart distribution center with 500 jobs. That was an honor. We brought in Mike Erdman, Toyota, Nissan. That's a $45 million project. A lot of public projects and roads, which helps business. We brought in the Wawa, the Flying J, which is fun to go to. Of course, the Dollar, O'Reilly. On the north end, we brought in SpaceX. They're operating the north end of the city. Rocket Crafters, the high-paying jobs. The manufacturing expansions of Caltech, Diamondback, Geno, and a lot of other little tech companies that are growing. I go on and on. Thank you.
Thank you. Bob?
Thank you, Isadora, and thank you again to Florida State for putting this on. Why vote for me? I offer this city 3 decades worth of successful experience as a leader, as a successful leader, and formal training, 3 decades of formal training in leadership. I'm a problem solver. We have problems here in Cocoa. They need to be solved. We look at our strategic plan. We have this great plan, but things just kind of bog down. Every citizen understands that. Every citizen knows that. I'm the one here with the leadership skills, the experience, and I've been serving my whole life, and I want to continue to serve, and I can get this done. I know I can make a difference, a positive difference in the lives of the citizens of Cocoa. I have a lot to offer the citizens. I hope they'll give me an opportunity. I wasn't born here, but I have been around the world, and I've seen great places, other great cities, that have great programs to offer, and we can copy those programs, those successful programs, and implement them here. I'm the one with the experience to bring those to the city of Cocoa. Thank you.
Thank you. And Alan?
You know, three of the guys running have been mayor, did a great job. Cocoa is a great place. There's no doubt to that. We need to look maybe some new ideas. That's what I'm coming in with. I keep saying it, born and raised here. There's no better way to say it. I've seen it go from dirt roads. Clear Lake Road was a 2-lane road when I moved, we grew up. All these roads, everything's changed. Yeah, we need some new ideas in the command. We keep talking about putting good guys in command and making the right people in charge, and that's picking the right people to be in there. I believe I'm one of them. I think we can get in there. I'm not going to make every person happy. If you do, you're doing something wrong, because it's not going to happen. I think everybody can agree with that, especially past mayors. My history has been 38 years plus in owning businesses here in Cocoa and Brevard County. I'm still in business for myself. I'm more than happy to give my time and make it where I can help improve Cocoa. So thank you for your vote. Get out and vote. No matter who you vote for, you need to get out and vote and make your votes count.
Thank you. Candidates, thank you for joining us and doing it for the voters. Again, the election happens on November 3rd. If you want to read more about this race and other Brevard County elections, go to floridatoday.com. And thank you for being here with us today.